In today's globalised world, with growing migration both within and across countries, there is an increasing number of multilingual communities in the world. In a multilingual community, several languages are used. So, how do people choose language in different situations? Today, we're going to talk about language choice in multilingual communities. Linguistic repertoire is the variety of linguistic codes that a person has stored and uses depending on the different environments. With so many languages stored, how do people make their language choice in a particular situation? In fact, the language choices people make is closely related to domains of language use. Domain is a concept which draws on three important social factors: participants, setting, and topic. Elise, a postgraduate student at HKU from Shanghai. Let's see how she interacts with different people. In the morning, she orders dim sum at a local restaurant.
流沙包啊，唔該。
At 10:30, she goes to the class and talks to the lecturer.
Could you please explain that to me again?
Sure. So self-efficacy theory is based on the idea that your belief in yourself to be able to achieve a particular task, a goal that you've set yourself.
After class, she talks to her friend about the weekend plan.
这周去哪儿玩一下？我要先 check 一下我的 schedule。哦，忘记了，我们是不是有个 presentation 要做啊？不 ，presentation 上星期已经做完了。哦，那好啊，咱们要不叫着 Echo 一起出去玩吧？可是 Echo 已经有男朋友了。啊 ，Echo 有男朋友了。那我们还是自己出去玩好了。好吧。
In the evening, she calls her mum.
喂，媽媽，我到屋里向了呀。今朝禮拜五，咁嘛夜到就要早啲回來。我現在等了看電影呀，張國榮嘅電影老好看啊。
During this day, Elise uses 4 languages or dialects in 4 different domains: shopping, education, gossiping, and family. When talking to her mainland friend about the weekend schedule on campus, she uses Mandarin. When calling her mum about her daily life, she uses Shanghai dialect. As you can see, Elise chooses different languages or dialects depending on the participant's setting and topic. So, can you fill in the rest of the table according to the video and what you have learned about domains of language? It is also worth noting that in the same domain, people use different languages depending on the participants.
Of course, when I talk to my local friends, which are born and raised in Hong Kong, we use my first language, which is Cantonese. But when I meet some friends which are originally from the mainland China, different provinces, I'll use Mandarin to communicate with them. And lastly, when I communicate with some friends which are expatriates, not Chinese, the common language that we have is English, and definitely we'll use English to communicate.
However, in a cosmopolitan city like Hong Kong, what languages do other people speak?
I speak Mandarin when I am talking to my boss. For example, ni hao ma. And then at work with my friends and family, we are using Tagalog language, our very own. And going to church, using bilingual, English and Chinese. Shopping, we use English.
At home, they speak Tagalog. When they go to church, they use English and Chinese or Cantonese. If they go shopping, they use English. At work, they speak Mandarin. According to the diagram you have seen before, can you fill in the blank sections? Have you ever noticed that in some places of the world, languages or dialects used in the domains of education or church may vary from those used in the domains such as shopping or family chatting? The former language with higher function would be regarded as superior to the latter one with lower function. This phenomenon is called diglossia. In Shanghai, we have Mandarin in formal education, public speech, law setting, and most of the news broadcasting.
在中国首选，我们上海要力争成为第一个承办的城市。
On the other hand, Shanghai dialect performs the role of daily communication among local people.
有啊有，有啊有， 有的啊，不久。
When we look back at English history, we also find a similar situation.
In 1066, the Norman conquest brought war again to the British Isles. The Normans were Vikings who had settled in France. They had abandoned the Viking language and culture in favor of a French lifestyle, but they still fought like Vikings. They placed a Norman king on the English throne, and for 3 centuries, French was the language of the British royalty. Society in Britain came to have 2 levels: French-speaking aristocracy and Old English-speaking peasants.
However, since English is becoming a world language with globalization, more and more places are changing to a triglossia or polyglossia situation, which means 3 or more languages or dialects perform different functions. Singapore, as an international tourism country with complicated cultural background, is in a polyglossic language situation. It has English, Mandarin, Tamil and Malay as its official languages. English, as the colonial and main educational language, receives higher status. Mandarin also serves a generally high function comparing to Tamil or Malay because of the large Chinese population and the Speak Mandarin campaign, which started in 1979. Tamil and Malay are restricted to the Indian and Malaysian ethnic groups respectively, often used at home and in daily communication inside of their communities. In a particular domain, do people stick to one language all the time? Actually, in the former video clip, Elise's friend uses some English words in their Mandarin conversation. This is an evidence of code switching. Code switching is the use of more than 2 languages within speech. There are several reasons and motivations that cause speakers to mix or switch code. People sometimes mix or switch code for convenience. They tend to choose the available word or phrase on the basis of easy availability to save time and effort. For example,
其實我哋冇諗過任何嘅 script 嘅，因為其實我哋真係冇諗過我哋會攞呢個。
The Chinese counterpart of an English word can sometimes be relatively long and difficult. To speak a shorter word or phrase and save linguistic effort, people choose to mix the original word in their speech. A speaker may switch to another language as a signal of group membership and shared ethnicity with an addressee.
多謝，說得對嗎？
对，
謝謝大家。
The award winner uses Cantonese to actively construct a shared ethnic identity and closer relationship between the audience and herself. After that, she switches back to Mandarin. People often mix some tags in their speech. For example, sorry.
Sorry，唔該。
Okay.
OK， 咁你劉青雲哥哥咧，亦都係我自己嘅偶像。咁
Thank you and bye bye.
多謝 ，thank you，拜拜。
Sometimes people switch to another language for effective function. Here, Obama's speech is to promote KFC's new products in a funny way to attract consumers.
Change, not only for America, but for the whole world. Not only for your mom, but for you, for your stomach, for a better taste.
魚柳包嘅味道 change 咗啦 ，KFC 家鄉鮮魚柳軟包。
From this lesson, we have learnt 4 important concepts: linguistic repertoire, domains of language use, diglossia, and code switching. Now it is your turn. Try to finish the following exercises and review what we have learned today. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact us. Followed are some related readings in which you can find out more about this class.